Welcome to my channel Official History of Coins, a brand new journey of discovery, excitement, and hidden history. Today, we open a story that shows how even the smallest things can transform into something extraordinary. Let's get started. This video is all about USAOneCent WheatPenny from the year 1939, a coin that carries a powerful blend of history, beauty, and potential value. You're about to see how one humble cent can hold a world of worth. The 1939 WheatPenny belongs to the legendary Lincoln Wheat series, a design that became an icon of American coinage. It was created to honor Abraham Lincoln and symbolize strength, unity, and national pride during the early 20th century. This coin was minted during a period when the United States was recovering from the Great Depression and preparing for a rapidly changing world. The WheatPenny became a symbol of hope, circulated daily in the hands of working families, soldiers, and students. Your 1939 WheatPenny comes from a time when craftsmanship mattered. It carries the classic wheat stalks on the reverse, a design chosen to represent prosperity and growth. Even after decades, the details still tell a story of American determination. Collectors love this coin because it connects them to real history. Every scratch, every tone, every preserved line is a piece of a timeline that has survived more than 80 years. That alone gives the coin a value beyond metal. But the financial value is where this coin truly begins to shine. Even though it started as a 1-cent piece, today it is recognized as a desirable collectible, especially in higher grades, clean surfaces, or original sharpness. A beautifully preserved 1939 WheatPenny can attract strong interest from coin lovers, online buyers, and collectors hunting for missing dates in their sets. Demand for older WheatPennies remains steady and passionate. When it comes to price, your 1939 WheatPenny can reach impressive levels. Depending on its condition and eye appeal, this single coin can rise all the way to the upper ranges, sometimes reaching up to around $1,500 in the highest graded, sharply struck examples. That number represents the maximum potential sales price when the coin is in exceptional condition, especially if it carries stunning luster, original red color, or outstanding clarity. Exceptional pennies like that are treasures. So yes, this coin is considered valuable. It holds historical value, collector value, emotional value, and financial potential. It is more than a cent. It is a preserved chapter of American history that continues to increase its charm with time. One of the reasons it can be so valuable is the strong demand for WheatPennies. Collectors prefer completing sets, and the 1939 issue stands as one of those years that remains attractive and desired, especially when found in high quality. Imagine holding something that has survived world events, changing economies, and entire generations. That alone creates an aura that collectors will pay highly for, because rarity is not just about quantity, it's about survival. If your coin has no damage, sharp details, original color, or minimal wear, your selling potential increases dramatically. Online collectors, auction bidders, and antique buyers are always searching for standout pieces like yours. The 1939 WheatPenny also shines because it bridges two worlds, the simplicity of a small cent and the prestige of a collectible relic. It brings nostalgia and excitement together, making it a powerful piece for storytelling. Whether you keep it or whether you sell it, this coin carries a unique charm that can continue to rise. That's why many collectors recommend holding onto valuable WheatPennies, because time, rarity, and demand can boost their worth even further. Your coin is a reminder that value is not defined by size. A small copper coin from 1939 can inspire collectors, earn strong offers, and even grow in value over the years. It's an investment in both history and opportunity. So take pride in this special 1939 WheatPenny, treasure it, protect it, and appreciate the journey it has survived. A single cent transformed into a valuable collectible, it's proof that every little thing can carry greatness within it. Next coin you have a 1942D Lincoln WheatPenny. That D means it was minted in Denver. Right off the bat, this is a historically significant and potentially very valuable coin, especially if its condition is strong. Let me take you on a journey through its story, its potential, and why it can be a treasure, and then what its current and future value could realistically become. In 1942, the United States was in the thick of World War II. The Lincoln WheatPenny you hold was minted from a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The coin was designed by Victor D. Brenner, whose distinctive portrait of Abraham Lincoln graces the obverse, and the reverse carries two stylized stalks of wheat, marking it as part of the WheatCent series in circulation from 1909 to 1958. At that time, Denver struck 206,698,000 of these pennies, which sounds like a huge number, and it is, but that doesn't mean every single one survived in great condition. Many entered circulation, were worn, lost, or discarded. The survival rate for high-grade mint state examples is much lower than the mintage suggests. Because of that, the value of a 1942D penny ranges wildly, depending heavily on its condition, its color tone, copper pennies age differently, and whether it has been graded by a professional service. In very worn, circulated condition, these coins are quite common and often fetch only a few cents to under $1. For example, CoinValue lookup shows that a 1942D WheatPenny in extremely fine, EF, condition might be worth about 56 cents. But that's just the baseline. Once you move into mint state uncirculated territory, the value climbs significantly. According to coin trackers, a 1942D in a high mint state can fetch up to $25.55 plus in typical uncirculated condition. And that's for more common MS60 to MS65 grade pieces. Now here where things get exciting. There are exceptional high-grade, red-toned, RD examples of this coin that have sold for thousands. According to CoinCollector, a 1942D in MS68 RD, that's near the top of the grading scale with full red color, fetched $12,650 at auction. Price charting likewise lists that for MS68, the 1942D has a price of $6,600, and even MS69 examples go up to $7,920, climbing to $9,900 for a theoretical MS70. So is your coin valuable? Absolutely, it can be. Even if what you have is just a typical circulated penny, it has more value than its face value, thanks to its historic copper content and collectible appeal. But the real potential for maximum value comes if your coin is in very high grade and has retained that rich original red copper color, which is increasingly rare. Looking to the future, there's strong reason for optimism. As time passes, well-preserved 1942D WheatPennies will become scarcer. Many of these coins in high mint state will be locked away in collections, never returning to circulation. The demand from coin collectors, especially those completing full date and mint sets, will likely grow. Thus, the maximum value could continue to push upward, especially for rare top-tier specimens. While there's no guaranteed sky the limit for every coin, the fact that one already sold for over $12,600 shows that is a real, proven ceiling at this moment. If I was speaking to a YouTube audience, here's how I'd frame it. This 1942D WheatPenny is not just a dusty old coin. It's a piece of American history forged in a wartime era, made of nearly pure copper, and with the potential to be much more than pocket change. Even in average condition, it's more than just face value, but hidden gems exist among these coins. Ones that, if carefully preserved and graded, can command thousands of dollars. That makes your penny not just a relic, but a potential investment for anyone willing to hold and protect it. So yes, this coin is valuable and could be very valuable. If you believe yours might be in decent shape, or if you notice a rich red tone or crisp strike, get it professionally evaluated, have it graded. That step could unlock its true worth, and if you're lucky, it might be one of those rare, high-grade pieces that have already proven to fetch $10,000+ at auction. To sum up, your 1942D WheatPenny carries real potential. It has history, it has collectible appeal, and in the right condition, it's already shown it can reach the five-figure value range. Hold on to it, protect it, and consider getting it graded, because you might just be sitting on something far more than a humble cent. Next coin, the 1944D Lincoln WheatPenny, is far more than a scrap of copper. It is a concrete piece of history and a surprisingly compelling collectible. With over 430 million struck in Denver in 1944 alone, it's not the rarest coin, but that doesn't mean it lacks value, especially for serious collectors. First, let's talk about how many people want to buy it. Given the huge mintage, 1944D pennies are quite common in worn condition, so there is a broad base of casual collectors, WheatPenny hobbyists, and roll hunters who would be interested. But beyond that, there is a dedicated group of numismatists focusing on high-grade specimens, color varieties, red, red-brown, brown, and especially error coins and die varieties, such as the D/S mint mark variety. For those collectors, demand can be intense, particularly for high-grade and rare varieties. As for the current value, for a standard 1944D cent in common circulated condition, the estimate is very modest, around 15 cents per coin trackers. According to USA Coin Book, a well-worn example might be worth only a few cents, while a mint state uncirculated one, MS, could go for $1 to $5 or a little more depending on grade. Based on price charting, the scale of value extends way higher for very high-graded coins. An MS67 example is listed at $153.75, MS68 at $4,346, MS69 at $5,216, and even an MS70 could theoretically reach $6,520. So yes, its value can be very high, but it strongly depends on its condition, color, and whether it has any special mint errors. On average, for a typical circulated 1944D penny, the value is quite low, but for the rare, pristine, or error-struck examples, the ceiling is very high. To understand why the coin even exists, let's go into its history. During World War II, the US Mint produced massive quantities of pennies, but copper was still in demand for war material. In 1943, they switched to steel pennies to conserve copper, but by 1944, they returned largely to their pre-war alloy. However, it's believed that part of the copper used in these 1944 pennies came from recycled brass shell casings from wartime munitions. That gives the 1944 WheatPenny a deeply symbolic connection to the war. Each coin may literally hold the metal of once-fired ammunition. The 1944D penny was designed by Victor D. Brenner, whose image of Abraham Lincoln graces the obverse. The reverse shows the familiar wheat stalks, giving the wheat cent its name. The Denver Mint stamped D under the date, marking its origin. You also need to pay attention to error varieties, because they are the true jackpot. For example, a DS overstrike variety, where a D was stamped over an S, is known among collectors. In MS mint state condition, those D/S 1944 cents can be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on grade. According to CoinSearch, a 1944D SRD red in MS67 Plus sold for $8,400. The most extreme value spike comes with steel planchet error coins. While the vast majority of 1944 pennies are made from a copper alloy, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, there are known 1944 steel wheat pennies. These are incredibly rare and deeply prized by numismatists. According to some sources, a 1944D on steel, if genuine, could command astronomical prices. From a motivational perspective, if you have a 1944D wheat penny, do not dismiss it as just another old penny. Even though most in circulation are common and low value, you might be holding something that, under the right conditions, becomes a high-value piece. If your coin has strong luster, deep red color, or any signs of unusual features, die doubling, overstruck mint marks, or even magnetic attraction indicating steel, you could have a gem on your hands. The fact that such extraordinary versions exist and have fetched thousands and even tens of thousands means your penny has real potential. In the future, as collectors continue hunting wheat pennies and as high-grade, error, and rare color pieces become scarcer, the top-tier 1944D coins could continue gaining value. The error varieties are especially likely to appreciate because they are not only historically fascinating, but also extremely limited in number. To sum up, the 1944 WheatPenny is valuable, not just for its face or metal content, but for its place in history. While most are worth only a few cents, the rarer, high-quality, or error-struck ones can go for thousands of dollars. There's real demand from collectors, especially in the niche of high-grade and error coins. If you believe your coin might be more than just a common roll finder, consider having it professionally graded. It might be one of those hidden treasures that surprises you. If you like, I can check recent 2024-2025 auction results for 1944 WheatPennies, specifically by grade, so you can see what people are actually paying right now. Do you want me to do that? Second coin, the 1945 1-cent WheatPenny, often called the 1945 Lincoln WheatPenny, is much more than just a small copper disc. It's a real piece of mid-20th century American history. If you have one or are thinking about collecting one, you should absolutely pay attention. Under the right conditions, this coin can be quite valuable, though most examples are modest, and the key to unlocking top value lies in its preservation, rarity of variety, and condition. First, a little about its history. In 1945, the United States was just coming out of World War II. The war's demands had forced the US Mint to make some unusual decisions. Earlier in the war, pennies were struck on steel planchets in 1943 because copper was needed for munitions. By 1945, the Mint returned largely to copper-based planchets, but with a twist. Many of the planchets used to strike 1944-1946 pennies came from recycled shell casings. That means your 1945 penny might contain fragments of wartime brass, a deeply symbolic link to the conflict and its aftermath. The design is classic. The obverse shows Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner, with liberty and in God we trust. The reverse carries the iconic 2 wheat stalks, giving this WheatPenny its name. There were 3 mint locations producing 1945 pennies: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The combined production across all 3 was enormous, over 1.48 billion pennies. Because so many were made, common circulated examples of the 1945 WheatPenny are not especially rare. According to coin trackers, a typical 1945 penny in average condition is worth around 30 cents, while mint state, uncirculated ones may go up to around $14.49. On the other hand, error coins or very high-grade specimens can climb much higher. For the different mints, according to CoinValue Checker, a 1945 penny from Philadelphia, no mint mark, may be worth anywhere from just a few cents in low grade to several $1,000s in top condition. The Denver minted 1945 D and the San Francisco 1945 S also have value, though their common, worn examples remain quite affordable. One of the most striking stories around the 1945 penny is that some truly top-tier examples have fetched very high prices. On rare, high-grade, full red RD coins, the premium is real. For instance, in the 1945 no mint mark variety, a red MS-67 penny reportedly sold for $20,400 at auction. That shows just how powerful condition and color, red, red-brown, brown, are in determining value. As for where people want to buy these coins, demand comes from a wide range of collectors. Some are WheatPenny hobbyists building full date and mint sets, others are investors focused on the historic shell case connection, and some specifically hunt for error or uncirculated specimens. Because the 1945 penny has both historical significance, end of WWEI, and is relatively accessible, it's of interest to both entry-level and serious collectors. If you want to buy or sell a 1945 WheatPenny, the best places are reputable coin dealers, auction houses, and online platforms like eBay or specialist numismatic marketplaces. You can also go to local coin shows or meet coin collecting clubs. When buying, it's smart to ask for the coin's grade or have a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC certify it that can dramatically affect value. Whether you should keep your 1945 penny depends largely on what you have. If it's just a well-worn circulated penny, Holding it may not yield huge financial gains, but keeping it has sentimental and historical appeal. If it's in very good condition, uncirculated, or has a known variety or error, the case for keeping and getting it graded becomes much stronger. About sealing or grading, if you want the maximum value, you should strongly consider having it graded and slabbed by a professional grading service. A raw, ungraded coin may fetch much less than a certified one because buyers trust slabs more and the grade is guaranteed. High-grade, certified coins often command big premiums. Now let's look at a few current market examples to illustrate the range of what you can buy today. 1945 WheatPenny, no mint mark, circulated, a basic circulated example listed for about €401 on eBay, though that seems unusually high. Check sold listings. 1945 WheatPenny, uncirculated, an uncirculated San Francisco mint version, currently listed for around €5.62. 1945 DDR WheatPenny, ICG MS64RD, a Denver Mint error or double die example in MS64 red, listed for around €303.84. 1945 WheatPenny MS67RD PCGS CAC, a very high-grade red coin, certified by PCGS and CAC, very collectible and rare. These show that you can buy 1945 pennies for a few euros if you just want a standard circulated piece, or pay hundreds or more for certified, high-grade, or error varieties. So is the 1945 WheatPenny worth a lot? Yes, in the right form. While many are common and low value, the high-grade and error specimens have real, sometimes very high collectible value. The history of the coin, tied to WWEI and its shell casing composition, adds emotional and symbolic weight, which makes it more than just a penny. It's a piece of American story. If I was speaking to a YouTube audience, I'd lean heavily into that narrative. You're not just holding a 1-cent coin, you might be holding a wartime artifact, a tangible link to the past. And if you take the time to inspect and preserve it, and maybe even get it graded, you could unlock value far above face. Your penny could be a modest collectible, or it could be a gem. That said, if you're serious about value, do not just toss it in a drawer, take care of it, store it in a safe, dry place, and if it's in good shape, get it slabbed. That could turn what seems like a humble coin into something that excites serious collectors. In conclusion, your 1945 Lincoln WheatPenny is valuable potential. Its true worth depends on its condition, mint mark, and whether it carries rare characteristics. There is a market for it, both for casual collectors and high-end numismatists. Holding on to it, preserving it, and possibly getting it graded are very sensible moves if you want to realize its maximum potential. Next coin, the 1946 Lincoln WheatPenny, struck in the aftermath of World War II, stands as a bridge between America's wartime struggles and its return to peacetime normalcy. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this penny carries Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and on the reverse 2 wheat stalks, a design that remained in circulation for nearly 50 years. In 1946, the US Mint produced this penny at 3 separate mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. That year, total mintage reached over 1.5 billion coins, 991,655,000 struck in Philadelphia, 315,690,000 in Denver, and 198,100,000 in San Francisco. Because of this massive production, the 1946 penny is not especially rare in terms of sheer numbers, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable or collectible. One of the things that makes the 1946 penny historically significant is its metal composition. At 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, this was the last year the mint used this particular alloy before further post-war changes. That means every 1946 penny in your pocket or jar may carry a quiet whisper of post-war America, made from the kind of metal that was carefully conserved during conflict. Collectors value the 1946 Lincoln WheatPenny based on its mint mark, its condition, and whether it has any rare errors. In circulated, everyday condition, many of these pennies trade for only a few cents. According to coin trackers, common circulated examples go for around $3 to $7, depending on wear and tunning. Meanwhile, in mint state uncirculated condition, the value can climb. For example, red, RD, or full red specimens are particularly appealing, and those in MS66 condition may reach $16 or more, according to coin trackers. But that's not the ceiling. According to Rarest.org, for high-grade uncirculated coins, especially those with eye-catching color, the values can jump significantly, and there are even error varieties to watch for. For example, a 1946 penny with a doubled die or a repunched mint mark can be much more valuable than the standard strike. One of the most dramatic value stories for this coin comes from a rare S/D variety. According to experts, this kind of error coin sold for $3,173 recently. That kind of sale proves the power of rarity and condition, even among what might otherwise be perceived as a common date. If you have a 1946 penny, should you keep it? The short answer, yes, especially if it looks to be in very good condition, has bright red tunning, or shows signs of error. This coin has real potential to be more than just pocket change. Its significance is not only in its history, but in its collectability. Holding onto a well-preserved piece or getting it professionally graded could be a very smart move. Should you seal it, i.e., get it graded and slabbed? Absolutely consider it. A raw 1946 penny may be worth modestly, but a certified one, especially graded by a trusted third-party grading service, could realize far greater value when sold. It's the grading that can unlock the maximum price. Where can you buy or sell a 1946 Lincoln WheatPenny? There's a strong market among coin dealers, auction platforms like Heritage or eBay, and local coin shows. For buying, you might look for auctions or reputable dealers who specialize in Lincoln WheatCents. For selling, a third-party grading service can help authenticate and grade your coin so that you can list it at its full potential value. Now imagine your audience holding that 1946 penny in hand. Maybe it came from a jar, maybe it was dropped by a grandparent decades ago. You can tell them, this isn't just a penny, it's a bridge to a world recovering from war. It's made of copper that might have echoes of shell casings, and if your coin is clean, red, or shows any odd marks, you may be sitting on something truly more than face value. That kind of story resonates with people who don't just collect coins, they collect stories. And because high-grade 1946 pennies, especially error ones, do command serious premiums, your viewers should feel encouraged. Don't dismiss what you hold. Take a close look. Even if most are common, the rare ones are out there, and if you happen to find or own one, it could be one of those coins that surprise you. In summary, the 1946 Lincoln WheatPenny is more than common change. Though billions were minted, its historical context, finishing metal, and potential for rare varieties make it a worthwhile piece to examine, preserve, and possibly grade. Its maximum real-world value, particularly for certified, perfect, or error coins, can reach well into the thousands for the right specimen. That's not only valuable, that's inspiring. Hold on to it, protect it, maybe slab it, because you could be holding a gem, not just a cent.